Welcome to the Marriage Boss Podcast, and I'm totally pumped today because I have got a fellow coach. She's amazing. She's an IIN sister also, and she is just incredible in marriage, family, and business. Christine Miskinis is a woman's empowerment coach who focuses on teaching women how to tune into their inner voice to express their authentic voice in their lives. She is the owner and founder of Rock It Out Woman. Christine's story began with healing her own voice when she found out at age 24 that she had pre-cancerous cells growing from her stomach up into her esophagus from a lifetime of digestive issues. She believes this was a direct result of not listening to her intuition, pushing her way through life and silencing her own voice in trying to be a successful woman. It wasn't until that moment in the doctor's office that she realized no one was going to save her. There was no magic pill to fix her, and that she was responsible for her own life, body, mind, and spirit. In fact, she recalls everything around her going completely silent as she heard her inner voice say, "Go and allow your body to heal." Trusting her inner voice, she left the office unafraid, and within a few days, the perfect mentor showed up to support her in her healing process. The more her physical body healed, the greater her voice inside became. In just 6 months, her body was healed. From there, Christine went on to discover many more truths of the world and was ignited with passion for her newly discovered purpose to support women in tuning into their own inner voice for the guidance needed to transform their lives. As she began sharing her story, she quickly became noticed in the coaching industry, and soon others were asking her to tell her story of healing to their audiences. Christine has been seen multiple times on national television, Dr. Oz, and hosts her weekly radio show as a voice for women on Spreaker.com called Rock It Out Radio. And we'll give you the link later. You can learn more about Christine at www.rockitoutwoman.com. Follow her on Facebook, Mom's Coach for Life, and on Twitter. And she is now a superstar on Facebook Live. Christine, welcome, sister, to the Marriage Boss Podcast.
Thank you, Marriage Boss. Rick, it is amazing to be with you and to be here today. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited. You know, I have been following you for years, and, you know, obviously all of us in the IIN community, get around to know each other and support each other. But the stuff that you're doing now, over the past couple of years is just mind-blowing. I'm a big supporter. I'm always in and out. I'm checking in. I love what you're doing with women. I know when you take them on these retreats and these events, just so much good happens, and we have so many mutual friends. I'm watching the difference that you're making in the world every day, and so we all know about that. But I think what I wanted to dig into today with you, because I have you with me, I want to talk about your marriage. I want to talk about you as a woman in that relationship and your husband specifically, because this is all about marriage and business and how we marry the two, no pun intended. So tell us a little bit about how you have this amazing relationship with your husband and how other men and women can have the same.
Absolutely. So I will start off by saying, as the woman's power coach that I am, I believe the woman is the spiritual leader of her family. And I coined that as the woman because of the fact that we birth life and we are nurturers and healers, and that's just who we are. And then in our homes, really, as a mother, as a wife, really claiming that space. I feel it's so sacred and so special. And we've moved away from that in society, in a patriarchal society, and really allowing a woman to know she can have her greatest desires. In fact, statistically, women are the ones purchasing in the homes. Whether they're the ones making the money or not, they are the ones making the purchases, preparing the foods, tending to the children. I mean, it's a lot to hold and carry. But it's also true when it comes to a marriage about what you really desire as a woman to impart on your husband, to really take a stand for in your marriage. And I think that, Rick, is the greatest thing that I have gotten from my lessons of healing, my lessons in mothering and in business. These aspects that we look outside of ourselves for the answers is where we really become disconnected. And even as the women I know who I support, if you're looking outside of yourself for your man to bring you any of those aspects of love or truth, or if you're just completely dependent upon another person for these things, you will see them start to unravel.
So there's a woman listening today or watching today who's saying, but Christine, I didn't have a life-threatening illness. So I don't have the guts to go to my husband right now and say, honey, you know what? It's life or death. So I'm going to just tell you what I got to tell you. And this is who I am. And this is my voice. And so what about the woman who is so afraid to move into her own voice because she doesn't want pushback from her man who's been, made either dominant or unavailable the whole time?
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So here's the key. We're getting right into the secret sauce here because it's really about being authentic. So for the woman who's feels she's not able right now to speak up or to be such a strong voice, that's okay. Actually, that's not even what it's about. It goes back to what I was just saying. It's about the responsibility of every individual to claim their life, whether they had a healing incident or not. It's your marriage. And so the way you show up is to claim your part in it. So one way that you can do that, and you actually must do that, is by using your voice, is by communicating in such a way where you bring your husband into your vision. You make him part of it. You start with this connection of, if you've been this woman who, has not shared with her husband, well, then you've been really inauthentic. If you've been a woman who has said things and then because you've had some pushback or resistance, you've gone into silence and perhaps you've made your husband wrong or blamed him or whatever, you have a story about it, you've also been being inauthentic. It's the inauthenticity that is this layer underneath everything that's running the show. And so my suggestion for that woman would be to first find her voice herself before coming out to your husband, because you just might get emotional and stuff comes out a little disjointed. Really start to journal. What is it that you want in your marriage? Write that out. How do you want to experience your marriage? Do you want to have, a co-creation on all levels? Perhaps you want to really sit down every week and come to some terms of what your life is going to look like, and from there start to work together. Or maybe you want to, I'm going to take care of the kids, you're going to do this. Whatever that is for you, don't make it wrong, let it be what it is, and start to write it, journal about it. Your deepest desires. Because as women, we don't even allow ourselves to do that, but then we're looking at our man to fill the void. What void? Oh, we don't know. We just feel unhappy, dissatisfied. It's got to be because of him, because he's not doing anything. And now I can't talk to him, so he's really an idiot. I mean, we do all this blaming stuff on our men. And really, this is about the empowerment of the woman to meet her man. So first, get really clear. What is it that you want? Journal that out. Next comes the phase for the discussion. In your journaling, you need to see, where have I been inauthentic? What am I not sharing with my husband? So let me give you an example, Rick. For example, for me, I noticed that my upbringing, and this is where I do the deeper work, but you don't need to do deep work to know what your upbringing is like, right? Look at the relationships you had with your mother, with your father. How were you raised? How did your family operate when you were growing up? So for me, my mom was very much the martyr. She was like, the woman takes care of everybody and sacrifices. You stay home with the kids and the business comes later. You don't work, or you do it like this. Yep. And so right, how many women out there have this issue going on?
A lot of them.
Mm-hmm. So I had to get really real. I had to get really real with myself. And this is why journaling helps, or having some support helps, because you cannot see it. It's like a sneaky little thing in the subconscious that's hiding out, and it's running the show, and it's killing everything, seriously, in service of you, to keep you safe and comfortable and all that other great stuff. Facetious. But seriously, here's just my example, ladies. See if you can figure this out for yourself. So I grew up, and this is my thing, and then I grew up having big dreams, wanting to be on television, be a coach, travel, have this amazing life. And when I became a mother and a wife, then you have to try to figure out your role in that circumstance. Well, how do I love my husband, my children, and all? And it was this constant giving, constant doing, and it was exhausting, and it was leaving me quite irritable, really sad, so overwhelmed and stressed out, anxious, because I had to do all this stuff. So Christine had to get really clear with Christine. Why am I doing this? What is the payoff of me playing this role of the martyr that I've been taught this is what women do? What is the payoff of this? And then here's where the real mind stuff comes into play. It's going to blow your mind, right? Because I didn't seem to be this type of a woman who like needed to be, it looked like everybody would say, oh, you're great, look at you, you're amazing, you're the mother, you're the wife, you're doing, but I got really real with myself. What is this about? And what I found was, it was a way of me feeling needed, feeling loved. Because suddenly when my husband was like, honey, where's the thing? I can't find, oh, I'll get that. I know where that is. Oh, you're hungry? I'll cook because you don't know how. I'll do that. And then the kids are always, mommy, mom. Oh, no, don't worry, honey. I'll do that. But then I would, at the end of the day, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm the only one doing everything in this house. You write all this stuff.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. It's a very common story. We hear it every day. A lot of the women who are listening to this and watching this are saying, oh my God, that's my life. And so what about when you don't have that decision made yet? And as you're talking about journaling, I'm thinking about how in the past, mostly women had diaries. Every woman had a diary. And now we don't have that anymore. We're not recording our thoughts. We're not getting it out of our head and out of our heart. And so, this is powerful. I think that the word journaling, sometimes has a bad connotation. It's like, oh, I'm not going to journal. That's new agey. It's like, whatever, I'm going to write my stuff down. But if you said diary, maybe that's ringing a bell, because I know my mother had a diary. I know my grandmothers had diaries. I know my sister, when she was little, had a diary. But now we've gone away from that. So for all the journalers out there, yes, you're doing it. And a lot of men journal. But we really got away from the concept of using that diary to get that stuff out. And in that writing, not only is it healthy to get it out of you, but occasionally you read something that you wouldn't hear and see when you're just thinking it, that all of a sudden it comes out to you. It says, wow, this is the life I want to live. So now, if she is lucky enough, or he is lucky enough to see that, how do you make the change when you're always afraid? My kids aren't going to love me anymore. My husband's going to think I'm not a good mom and wife, and I'm not doing everything for anybody anymore. So I'm less than and not worthy of all that self-talk.
Beautiful. So that's the gist. When you start to journal, you reconnect to your true voice, the voice of the woman, of her feelings, of her authenticity. So we need to get that out. And if you're scared and you're afraid and you're not sure, there is a way to do it. That was a process, right? I'll take you through that if that's what you like. And in doing that, it's really about just getting real, ladies. It's really about confessing. So I had to come to my marriage and say, I discovered that I am being this martyr, this woman who loves her family so much, but in a lot of ways needs to be needed. And here's what's happening with that. I'm doing this and I have to take care of everybody, and I'm making up this way of being, because that's all it is, to create your martyr or your ways of being that came from the childhood stuff and all that. And here's what's happening. It's impacting our marriage because I'm treating you like you're not capable of doing these things. Right now, I'm saying this to my husband. Just imagine yourself, your husband's eyes are going to light up and be like, yeah. And I don't allow you to do things with the kids, or I have to be so over controlling about what I'm doing and planning and blah, blah, blah. When in fact, it's all because I just want to feel loved. And because I get scared that I need to try to control and plan these things out. And I'm not going to show up that way anymore in our marriage. Right
you have
now,
to become indispensable so that everybody needs you, and then that need, that perceived need, is like you translate it into being loved, when it's the total opposite.
Yes.
It's really just like a dependence, and it can become an addiction, and it's bad for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And so it is a way that I was raised. So that's why I say pay attention. It is out of love. It is that, whether it's Italian or Spanish or whatever your customs are, just pay attention. Now as the woman, where are these things running the show and really keeping you from being authentic? There's no reason, ladies, you shouldn't be able to go to your husband and speak authentically. Now, authenticity doesn't come with blame, shame, guilt. even as I share myself, it comes in a way that leaves another person moved, touched, and inspired by your words. Because let me just say, and I'll just finish this piece out, but as I came to him and shared, this is what I've noticed. This is who I have been being in our marriage, in our lovemaking, in our finances, all this stuff. This is how I've been being, and I'm not that. I am now creating the Christine who actually is open, loving, trusting, and so we can co-create this together versus the way I was doing it before. And now he's enrolled in what I have shared. Now he's engaged. And the secret is that when you speak authentically like this with somebody, right away they hear it, they recognize, yes, you always do that, yeah. But they don't say these things. In their head, they're saying, oh, yeah. And then they go, oh, but I kind of do that too. And yeah, I have. So while she's doing that, I'm over here like either taking care of the money or and yeah, and so they come back to you with their truth, or at least it opens the door for them to be able to do that. Okay, so that's a secret sauce.
Yeah, and so this is so incredible and amazing, and I knew this was going to be a powerful episode. So the reason I'm so excited about this is because, as you know, in my work, I'm trying to help couples get reconnected. And all of the things that you are describing are the barriers to connection. So we are going to clearly state and basically guarantee that if you do this in your relationship, you're going to have a better connection. You're going to have a deeper love. You're going to have more finances. You're going to be better parents together. And ultimately, you're going to be collaborative partners in this life thing, and you're going to flourish, and he's going to thrive. And so what could be better than having everybody win? And this is that win-win that you're all looking for, people. You're always saying, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. You're struggling financially, sexually, emotionally, physically. You're exhausted. And this is the answer. So, I don't want to say that we know it all, but this stuff works. And, when I was watching a couple of your Facebook Lives, I just said, you know what, this is such good stuff. We got to bring this out to the audience. So, I commend you for doing this work, because not only personally, but then bringing it out to the world. And it's just so powerful. I just jumped right on it, and I said, this is the real deal. So
yeah,
I thank you.
And thank you, Rick, for creating this space, because the truth is what you said in the beginning. Women are so hesitant to be vulnerable in this way, because it does require you to be vulnerable. Yet, ladies, through the journaling, through having the diary process, right, it gets it all out energetically. There's a lot of things you're holding on to from the past. The past is not the present. You're bringing it into the present, which is why I say don't go to your husband with all the baggage and all the stuff and then speak, because then you should be afraid, because it's going to be a crap storm. There's going to be stuff going on. It's icky, yucky, and not life-giving or empowering. Don't do that. However, if you go through the process of allowing yourself to develop your voice, to actually hear the truth of what you really desire, you will start to see, am I allowing this to happen? So when I did my journaling saying, well, I really want a man who can meet me, who can support me emotionally. And then I started, my gosh, of course he's not doing that, because I'm not allowing for that to even happen.
Yeah.
As the woman, as a spiritual leader, I'm like, you over here, you over there, me over here, and this is how it's going to go down. And don't worry, I got you. I'll take care of you. But it's going to look like this, and it's killing
you're like
it,
a general contractor on a project. It's like, okay, you do the electrical, you do the plumbing, you do the carpentry, you do the roof, you do the sheetrock, you do the foundation. Yeah, it's you know what? It's obviously this is the Marriage Boss show, but it feels bossy. And that kind of behavior, and you know what? A lot of women do it because what is the common misconception? Well, if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. He can't do it. He's not capable. My kids aren't capable. My husband's not capable. So we have to change that mindset. All right, so let's shift gears for a minute.
Yeah.
That's intense. I want to talk a little bit about, for the people who don't know you, I want to talk about how you sing all the time. And it's one of the things that I love about you. And if anybody goes to Christine's YouTube channel, they're going to get more than enough singing and dancing. So this is a young lady who not only coaches and brings it every day and supports, but she does it with her own unique flair. It's very entertaining, and she's very good. So talk about why you sing and dance all the time in your videos and in your life.
Awesome. Yeah. So I grew up as a performer, and I graced stages and did really big, fun things. And for me, as a woman specifically, it's really an amazing way to just release yourself of these emotions I was just talking about. So perfect intro right there. But this is the energy of creation. So if you want to get sassy and you want to like think about things, right? I love working with rock stars because I really feel the rock star image is the person who goes after their dreams. They have support. And it's because they're doing what they love. There's no other way to truly reach these heights without having support. So yes, from the husband, and yes, from other places too. When I first started coaching, I had to have someone come in and stay with my kids while I was on my calls and while I was doing things. So this whole energy of singing and dancing and really sharing a message in such a way, it's a technique that I have used myself as a performer, as a coach. Putting music on completely shifts your vibration. Would you agree?
100%.
I mean,
Yep.
and you know what, ladies? Sometimes you just need to be sad, and you'll hear the sad songs. You'll go on the radio, but that one day when you're feeling that certain type of thing, and that song comes on, it's like, and allow yourself to feel that, because once that release is complete, then comes in the space for the new creation, for the fun. You ever notice after you had a good cry, you start to laugh like, oh my God, that was ridiculous, or that felt so good, or...
Emotions are physical and they have a weight. And so, even though we might think emotional is just in our mind, it's in our body, and the energy of that and the weight of that, happy. I mean, why do we move around so much, and why do we jump so high when we're happy? Because there's a physical energy running through us, and the same thing for sadness. But it's good sadness when it's working to cleanse us. And I think that what I'd like to say about this for the audience is that this young lady gives you permission to do this same thing in your life. If it worked for her, it can work for you. You don't have to be an entertainer. You don't have to have a background in singing and dancing to sing and dance. And I know for a fact, because of the work I do, a lot of us, especially married with kids, with businesses, we are not using our real voice anymore. We're going through life pretty much dead, just walking, going through the motions. So singing again, laughing again, dancing again, having gratitude just for the ability to do that and letting that come out, that can be a way of you telling people that you're going to have, your voice is going to be heard again, is just to start to move your body and to start to sing and dance and laugh and be in your own joy, and then watch what happens around you. Yes, your husband might say, what's gotten into you? What, do you have a new tennis coach, or are you on Valium or something? But just say, no, you know what? I watched a podcast. I watched a YouTube video. I saw this young lady. Her message was amazing. It worked for her, and I'm doing it. I'm going to find my own true voice again, and this is how I'm going to do it. So there are so many ways to transform, and so this is certainly another one. And I love when you do it, and it's really a message to all of us to be who we are and be free. So give us one more now. Give us one more juicy nugget how someone can make this big leap, because we're all about giving permission on this show.
Yeah. Okay, so you just brought up something about the singing and the dancing, and so I have little kids at home. My kids are younger, but I'm sure older kids would love this too. While I'm cooking, making dinner, preparing, I put on the music throughout the house, right where we are in the kitchen, and we all join in.
Okay.
It is because, it's like towards the end of the day, everybody starts coming in, and the energy's a little off. And you really just want to, you're preparing your food. So if you went to IIN, you know how important that process. You don't want to be all stressed out, I got to do the food. And I prepare all my food naturally. So I cook every day, or it's heat it up from pre-prepared, but put on the music, blast it, rock it out, dance. Children love this. Get silly. You'll be twirling each other. I mean, talk about energy and all of that. Do it. Try that out because every day your kids will just love that.
Well, you know, it's so funny that you bring this up because I was on a call last night with another fellow food and nutrition person, a chef. I'll give her a plug, Laurel Herman. Hey, Laurel. And she wrote a book called The Blissed-Out Chef. And she's working on a new one now in a concept all around the energy in our food and sacral energy and chakra energy. And so she was telling me about how when she prepares meals, she remembers what her energy was when she prepares them, either professionally or personally. And the people actually get the emotions that she was cooking with when they eat the food. So this is a huge point. We're basically going to, connect the dots here. So let's dig into this a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's dig into how nourishing ourselves and our families, both with food energetically, but also with the vibration of music and love, can make such a big difference. Because to me, this is what it's all about. This is life. This is living your life and living and loving. So talk a little bit more about the energy of food and nourishment for your family.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that goes back to my whole healing story of when I discovered that, I was sick. I had pre-cancer in my throat. I was always exhausted. I couldn't figure out what it was, and no one could help me do that. So it wasn't until I had this pre-cancer condition that I discovered I needed to allow my body to heal, and the more fruits, vegetables, whatever organic, unprocessed stuff that I could put in, the more healing that would happen. And the reason that I share that is because in my own discovery, just as anyone listening, when you discover something, you always want to share it. And who will you share it with? Your husband, your children, they're in your home. So it's connecting all these dots today, because even as the martyr, no, come into the kitchen, everyone. It's time to prepare dinner. Wow. And you can relax and you can be revitalized. And if you have little kids, have them sit. They can rip up the salad. They can at least peel stuff. And while you're dancing and making a great time, my children always want to be in the kitchen with me. And I know a lot of mothers find that stressful, like, oh, I'm trying to do this and that goes into our food, it goes into our bodies. Yeah. And so create the space to co-create in your house with your marriage, with your relationships with your kids, with your health. Everybody gets to partake. And then when you sit down, the experience is so dramatically different. My kids love fruits and vegetables and smoothies and all of this. Why? Because I'm always entertaining them in the kitchen. Wow. And their feelings and their questions and their emotions. It's a big potluck of love right in the kitchen.
Yeah, so, it sounds like a party. It sounds like a party in your house and in your life. And so I know that this makes men interested, because men love parties. Yeah. And they love women that are in joy.
Yeah.
And so, I think that the combination is just so magical, and it's just, I'm excited to be witnessing this. And tell everyone now how they can find you, get in touch with you, ladies, gentlemen. If you need support with this, Christine is here to help. So tell everyone how they can find you.
Awesome. So my favorite space is my website, which is amazing, and there's lots of resources there as well. There's reading materials, there's meditations. Go over to www.rockitoutwoman.com. Rick has all the links, and subscribe there so we can stay connected. But if you're a Facebooker and you love Facebook, go there too. You can follow me, Christine Miskinis, on my personal page or my fan page, or you can PM me, private message me anytime, and I'll set up a time to speak.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you again for joining me. I think that we probably have another 5 episodes that we could bring out of this energy today. So it was just a joy. I am just, loving watching you every day, and such a big fan. So thanks so much for joining me, Christine.
Thank you so much, Rick. I love having you on my side because you really know how to bring it, and you're doing it. Marriage Boss rocks, and we need more marriage bosses in the world for sure.
Thank you.